Shove It, man!
Alright, Shove It Squad, HAWK, all night, all day. Now I know I said that AEW reviews wouldn't affect my normal video output, and it has. I'm sorry about that. I'm just not used to putting out 3 videos a week. I am saving up some videos so I can get this schedule back on track, so please just bear with the Hawk and don't smack me too hard with the attack. So for anyone who's new around here, I am the idiot and I'm trying to get into AEW. The reason I'm trying to get into AEW is because I'm going to their All In show in Wembley, and I want to have a good time at that show. But without knowing the wrestlers involved, how am I supposed to have a good time? It's impossible, unless you get really drunk. I'll probably get kicked out. So, I've got to try and get into the show before this Wembley show happens. That's my mission. I don't know much about AEW, so join me on this mission as I try to get used to it. So this AEW show is entitled Blood and Punches to the Gut. So it sounds like a suitable show for me. This show's coming to you from Boston, Massachusetts, and it's also Shark Week, so there's sharks everywhere. So I guess we can expect to see Shark Boy anytime soon then. This show will start with an FTW title match. Jack Perry is the challenger, but he doesn't come out. Instead it cuts to a pre-recording where he's out in the desert burying someone. Then a limo pulls up, and he checks himself out in the reflection of the mirror. He's like this. Yep. You still look like a dork, Jack. Jack Perry does arrive in the arena now, and it turns out that the thing that he was burying was his whole Jungle Boy persona. So that's all he was burying. Nothing that interesting. The FTW champion is Hook, who's one of Taz's sons, and he loves lighting up Jack Perry and the crowd love him for it. He has a shoot fighter gimmick, I guess. Jack Perry controls most of this match. They fight on the outside where I spy a hottie in the audience. AEW should hire these girls. Who are they? But no, they're more likely to hire that one on the opposite side of the arena. Look, I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I'm trying to find things to entertain me. That referee looks like Santina Morella on crack. Someone give him a smack. Jack Perry is refusing to do any dives here because he's no longer Jungle Boy, and that really upsets the crowd. There's a couple of big moves now. Taz's son Hook does a T-bone suplex off the apron, which is pretty brutal, and I haven't seen that before. Perry isn't hurt though, and he hits a Hangman's DDT off the ring apron to the floor. Captain Hook no-sells a German suplex, and then he does one in response, which almost ends the match. Taz is squirting in his knickers with happiness at that one, but he won't be for much longer. Perry keeps trying to win the match by cheating. Then we get a ref bump. Hook has the match won, but then Perry smacks him with the title belt. And that is the 1-2-3, and we've got a new champion. The Hawk isn't familiar with either of these guys, and it's going to be hard for me to enjoy a match between 2 complete unknowns, but I'm giving them a chance. What I will say is, this match felt like a TNA match. The ending was exactly the same as one you would see on a weekly basis in TNA, so I can get on board with that. Chris Jericho, Don Callis and Bill Goldberg meet somewhere to discuss if they're going to become a team. Back at the arena, Taz is sulking about his son's loss. I enjoyed that. Things go for an improvement now because MJF and Adam Cole are going for a Chinese. Apparently MJF is scared of spicy food and Adam Cole is helping him embrace his fears. Chinese food isn't even hot. Why would you take him for a Chinese? Wouldn't it be an Indian? Anyway, they accidentally both get drunk and MJF sits around telling stories about a time that he was Hulk Hogan or something. They vow to hit the double clothesline tonight. More teasers about if Don Callis and Chris Jericho are going to become a team. This is a major storyline in AEW right now. A women's match will be Dr. Britt Baker taking on Kayla Sparks. She makes the boys barks. That was terrible, I'm sorry. It's just a squash match, it's over in seconds. I hope that isn't all AEW have got for their women's division this week. That was not good enough. More MJF and Adam Cole stuff. They both give each other gifts. This bromance is so funny. They love each other. Roderick Strong is shown looking upset that his little friend Adam Cole has ditched him. He looks like a massive dork. Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia are here for the tag team tournament match now, and Chris Jericho also comes here to do commentary because they are his sons. MJF and Adam Cole now have tag team music, which is great, and the crowd love the fact that they've got their tag team music. These guys are putting so much energy into their performance. Both tag teams start off with a dance-off. I am so fortunate that no one can see me watching this right now because I would be kind of embarrassed to be seen watching this. It's still funny though. The only thing I learned from that is that Adam Cole can't dance, and the match starts now. This match is basically all about whether or not they can hit the double clothesline. No one can doubt the entertainment factor of MJF here. This match is just non-stop comedy. This is similar to the match last week where MJF is the one to get isolated. He does eventually tag Adam Cole, who clears everyone out with kicks. They keep teasing the double clothesline, but they don't hit it. Cole keeps encouraging MJF to hit a dive to the outside of the ring, but he's too scared to do it. But as he's trying to embrace his fears, he eventually does hit a simple dive to the outside, and the crowd go berserk. It's so funny that these two are getting so much out of so little. It's like how wrestling used to be. These guys are great professional wrestlers. The double clothesline does finally connect, and that ends the match, and the crowd loved that. And that makes a lot of sense because they were teasing this double clothesline for a couple of weeks. So yeah, end the match with it. I'm totally for that. The only thing is, I'm not too sure if it's smart to do this much comedy with MJF. He is the world champion. I did have to keep reminding myself that. You don't want to make him look too silly. It's like when Kurt Angle was doing all that stuff back in 2001 and they decided to rein it in just a little bit because he was becoming too much of a comedy character. We don't want to go there with MJF. We need to toe the line. The segment ends with Adam Cole looking at MJF's world title, if you forgot he was the world champion. So they're planting the seeds there for what could possibly happen, and interestingly, it could be Adam Cole who actually turns on MJF, and no one would have expected that in the first place. Chris Jericho's sons are unhappy with him for some reason and they walk off. And no, the segment isn't actually over because FTR are here now, who are the world champions of the tag team division for AEW. Now, I don't know anything about these guys. I was not in the wrestling bubble for the last 5 years. So again, I'm going to have to give them a chance. But they don't look like much. I am going to have to watch that tag team match now because I'm invested in this storyline. I need to see if MJF and Adam Cole do become the tag team champions. One of the members of FTR looks like Billy Corgan on Hard Times. And if you're wondering, that tag team title match is happening on Collision, not on Dynamite, so we'll have to flick over for that one. Big group interview now. They're trying to explain desperately who everyone is and who the champions are and when the belts be defended. I came away scratching my head from this one. Darby Allin begs Orange Cassidy to defend his belt against one of his little friends. It's not Nick Wayne, it's someone else. Orange Cassidy agrees, so it certainly pays off to be friends with Darby Allin, doesn't it? A Shark is seen doing impressions behind the commentary desk. Shouldn't they have just had Shark Boy for this moment? It would have made more sense. Update. Shark Boy is doing something for AEW for Shark Week. I'm not sure what it was because I didn't see him on this show, but there was a picture of him at Dynamite. So we'll have to see where that goes. But it's another TNA legend doing stuff in the bigger companies. You cannot doubt the strength of their roster back in the day. Now we have the blood and punches to the gut match. It will be the Elite taking on the Blackpool Dogfighting Club. Claudio and Kenny Omega will be the two men to start for their respective teams. This match is 50 minutes long, maybe more. It's this kind of thing that's going to be difficult for me as someone who isn't an AEW fan. I don't know the characters, I don't know the wrestlers, so it's going to be very hard for me to get invested in a 50-minute match. But I'm going to force myself to do it because if I want to enjoy AEW in London, I have to get familiar with these guys. Just like I got familiar with your girl last week. What I will say is though, I don't understand why a match like this is on telly and not pay-per-view. Why give 50 minutes of your TV programme up for one match? Surely it should be on pay-per-view. Someone will tell me down in the comments, why is this match on TV and not on pay-per-view? I want to know. So we've got these two guys and they fight forever, or what feels like forever to the Hawk. Then Pac enters for the Blackpool Dogfighting Club. It always makes me laugh that they've named themselves after Blackpool. To anyone from the States who isn't aware, Blackpool is one of the worst places in the UK. And I'm not trying to be a dick about this. It's a fact. It's one of the most poverty-filled, depressing places in the UK. Yet they're named after it. It's like if you named a team after Gary, Indiana. It is not somewhere that you'd want to brag about being from, is it? Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there because I am struggling to get through this match. Omega's getting double-teamed smacked down. Now Hangman Adam Page enters. Honestly, this was the best part of the match so far for me. I do like his offense, and I seem like I could get on board with this Hangman guy. John Moxley and a Fork enter the match for the Blackpool Dogfighting Club now. You know what? I could buy John Moxley being from Blackpool. It makes perfect sense. John Moxley turns the match hardcore. It woke us up a bit. Nick Jackson out next for the Elite. I was completely shocked by the lack of reaction for this guy. I thought he was one of the stars of the show. Crowd was silent for him. He hits a diving Hurricanrana on Claudio, which sends him into a pile of trash on the floor. But then Moxley sends him into the trash on the floor. Someone needs to clean this place up. Another man to not exactly get a crowd reaction is Wheeler Yuta. I'm not really that familiar with him, but he doesn't look that exciting, let's be honest. He hits a brainbuster on the chair, but the cameraman completely misses it. Luckily, they do have a replay, but this would happen a few times on this show. They would miss things. Matt Jackson joins on the side of the Elite, and Take Shitter joins on the side of the Blackpool Fight Club. He also gets zero reaction. Why are these guys in the main event if they're not that popular? It doesn't make much sense to me. It's like AEW said, let's put all the most popular guys in the match first. I don't know why. Jon Moxley has a bed of nails. He looks like he belongs in a match like this. Omega gets drop kicked into the board. Ibushi enters the match now. Now I'm going to address my comments on last week's video because some of you are really upset about what I said about Ibushi, calling him a random Japanese wrestler. The Hawk has never claimed to be an encyclopedia of wrestling knowledge from the last 6-7 years. I didn't even watch wrestling for the last 6-7 years. This channel is mostly old stuff. So how would I know who Ibushi is? Seeing as I didn't even watch any wrestling in the States for the last 6-7 years, I'm not going to have watched any wrestling in Japan for the last 6-7 years, am I? So sorry if you're offended by that, but I'm about to find out if he's any good now. Hopefully by the end of this, he'll no longer be a random Japanese wrestler. As I said, I am not going to sit here and do 2 hours of research into who each person is, but I do promise that I will give AEW a fair shot for the next 2 months. I will try my hardest to get into it and enjoy it. Anyway, on the Ibushi subject, he does get an amazing crowd reaction, so he obviously does belong in the main event, and seeing as all these people love him so much, he must have some good stuff in his locker. At this point, everyone's joined the match, and the match ends when someone submits or the other team surrender. In a cool moment, Jon Moxley is crushing Kenny Omega's hand whilst taunting Ibushi. I like that moment, it was quite intense. There's a fight going on all over the building, it's hard to keep track of what's going on. It's exciting. Ibushi hits a double Pele kick, which got me out of my seat. That was awesome. He also does a moonsault to Jon Moxley, who's on the spiked board. That looked painful. I'm starting to see why you all like this guy so much. Wheeler Yuta and Nick Jackson start fighting on top of the cage. Jackson throws him with a bunch of Northern Light suplexes, and they tease someone getting thrown off the cage, but it never happens, and they both climb back down. The crowd boo at that. Pac is killed by about 6 different dives, but nobody manages to beat him for some reason. There's a bit of an awkward moment where Ibushi looks like he's trying to go for a pin a couple of times. Maybe he wasn't sure on the rules. I might just be wrong. Maybe he wasn't going for a pin, but it really did look like it. Pac delivers a double foot stomp through the table when he's hanging off the cage. Again, the camera missed it, but again, we do get replays of it. Everyone suddenly realises that this match ends to submission, so they all start putting on submission holds, but Ibushi breaks them up. Claudio and Pac have a little fallout, and Pac decides he can't be bothered to do this match anymore, and he says, "Screw you guys, I'm going home." And he cuts through the cage and leaves. Apparently someone else did walk out on this match as well. I have no idea when that happened. I watched every minute of this show. Somehow I've missed it. I'm not even sure who it was. I assume it was Take Shitter, because I barely saw him in this match. Anyway, with a numbers advantage on their side, the Elite do win this match when they choke out Wheeler Yuta and Moxley surrenders for his team because he doesn't want his little friend to die. That is very compassionate of Jon Moxley. This was better than expected. I quite enjoyed this match. I thought I was going to really struggle to get through this. But you know what? Not half bad. Jon Moxley was the MVP of this match. He brought a lot to this and it really helped it live up to the statement of blood and punches to the gut. So that's Dynamite. It was an alright show. That main event took up a little bit too much time for my liking and I didn't quite enjoy the show as much as I did enjoy the show last week. I wanted to meet some more of the characters and I get to see some more storylines here. It was a decent show, nothing spectacular. And if you don't agree with that, I'll drain your blood like Dracula.